Monday, Dave's all new with the one and only Tom Hanks, plus music from NERD and an all new Top 10. Monday, now your local news.
This is CBS 2 News.
Immeasurable grief tonight for 3 Long Island families after a deadly accident takes 4 young lives.
When the president starts doing things that risk American lives, then loyalty to him has to be put aside.
The bombshell interview of former top White House advisor on terror blasts President Bush.
And one of the country's best-known stadiums is reduced to rubble. Good evening, I'm Todd McDermott.
And I'm Mary Calvi. Stunning words tonight from a former White House advisor on counterterrorism.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, Richard Clark claims President Bush ignored signs that al-Qaeda was about to attack America. And Clark goes further in his newly published book, even going as far as saying the president has done, quote, a terrible job in the war on terrorism.
Rumsfeld was saying that we needed to bomb Iraq, and we all said, but no. Al-Qaeda is in Afghanistan. We need to bomb Afghanistan. And Rumsfeld said, there aren't any good targets in Afghanistan.
Former White House terror advisor Richard Clark told 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl he made it clear at a top-level White House meeting after 9/11, Iraq could not be connected to the attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon.
We've looked at this issue for years. For years we've looked for a connection, and there's just no connection.
And you told them that?
Absolutely.
But Clark says President Bush made it clear in, quote, an intimidating way. He wanted a report that blamed Iraq for the attacks, and when it didn't come back that way, Clark was told, wrong answer. And he blames the entire administration for ignoring the al-Qaeda threat before the attacks.
I blame the entire Bush leadership for continuing to work on Cold War issues when they came back in power in 2001. It was as though they were preserved in amber from when they left office 8 years earlier.
But the Bush administration vigorously denies that anyone ignored the terrorist chatter or the al-Qaeda danger, even giving the president credit for pushing U.S. intelligence to look beyond threats to overseas targets.
The president got concerned about whether there was the possibility of an attack on the homeland. He asked the intelligence community, look hard, see if we're missing something.
One key point of contention tonight, the White House says the conversation in which Mr. Bush, quote, intimidated Clark to look for an Iraqi link to 9/11 never actually happened. But 60 Minutes has an independent witness who claims that it did. Richard Clark's book, Against All Enemies, is published by Free Press, a subsidiary of Simon & Schuster, which is owned by Viacom, which also owns this television station. Mary?
Devastating news on Long Island. 4 young lives were taken in a terrible car accident. 2 of the victims are brothers. CBS 2's Jay Dow has more from Dix Hills.
Emergency officials suspect an untold number of motorists unknowingly drove by this accident scene early this morning. The wreckage scattered 200 feet into the woods, hidden under the cover of night off Long Island's Northern State Parkway.
The call was cold, so we knew that the call had to be there since the early morning hours.
Dix Hills Fire Chief Larry Feld, a first responder, says an off-duty NYPD officer finally noticed the debris and made the 911 call at around 7:30 a.m. All 4 passengers inside the 1996 4-door Oldsmobile died. They are 23-year-old driver Victor Separano of Farmingdale, 19-year-old Kyle Hurd of Coram, his 20-year-old brother Brendan, and Brendan's girlfriend, 19-year-old Erica Lane of Yaphank. Chief Feld says after his team discovered 2 of the passengers sitting in the front seats, they took out thermal imaging cameras, hoping to find any other bodies that may have been thrown into the woods. Minutes later, Chief Feld discovered the other 2 victims were actually in the back seat, their bodies crushed upon impact. New York State police officials say the car was most likely traveling at a high rate of speed when the driver failed to negotiate a left curve on what was a slick roadway.
I've been a volunteer fireman for approximately 20 years, and it's one of the worst accidents that I've ever come upon.
In Dix Hills, Long Island, Jay Dow, CBS 2 News.
In another deadly accident, a driver was killed, several other people injured during a 4-car crash early this morning in New Rochelle. Police say Jorge Panama of Bedford Hills lost control of his car on North Avenue and set off a deadly chain reaction. His brother, 19-year-old Johnny, who was following him, was killed when he crashed head-on into an SUV. 7 passengers of the cars are being treated at area hospitals.
Major developments in the Mideast tonight. Israeli gunships have reportedly attacked and killed the leader and founder of the terrorist group Hamas. Sheikh Ahmed Yassin was also considered the spiritual leader of that organization. Earlier today, 5 Palestinians were killed in a firefight with Israeli soldiers in Gaza City. 4 were members of Hamas. The 5th was an innocent bystander. The attacks are reportedly in retaliation for the Hamas suicide bombings on March 14th that killed 10 Israelis. 3 U.S. soldiers were killed in Iraq today. 2 of them died in a rocket attack in western Iraq. Another soldier was wounded in a separate rocket attack on U.S. coalition headquarters inside the Green Zone in Baghdad. 1 civilian was killed. The 3rd U.S. soldier died during a weapons firing exercise about 60 miles north of Baghdad.
Some frightening words from al-Qaeda's number 2 man, Ayman al-Zawahiri. He reportedly told a Pakistani reporter today that his terror group paid $30 million for a nuclear bomb the size of a suitcase. And the days-long fight by Pakistani troops to take over some military barracks near the Afghanistan border is finally over. Al-Zawahiri was not inside, and there is word from elders of a local tribe that they're negotiating with al-Qaeda members to surrender to the Pakistani troops. About 60 people were killed during the course of that battle. Meanwhile, relatives of a U.S. soldier who gave his life fighting in Afghanistan may not be able to attend his funeral. Now, that may sound impossible, but that's the situation a visa conflict has created for a grieving family in Westchester. CBS 2's Arthur Chien has the exclusive story.
Cradling his younger brother's military photograph, Chris Lagman says his family is still struggling to come to grips with losing 26-year-old Staff Sergeant Anthony Lagman.
My mother she's been crying since that day, since Thursday. Sometimes it's hard to talk to her too.
Lagman from Yonkers was killed last week in Afghanistan when his patrol unit was attacked. Here at home, his family has gotten precious few details. To make things worse, because of red tape, his family from the Philippines, including his uncle, aren't being allowed in the country.
He acted as our guardian, as our father when my parents was away. Yeah, my uncle to us is like a father to us.
Why do they have to go through this? Why are they right now in the Philippines in anguish, worrying, can they get over here? Can they see the family?
The Lagman family today found a sympathetic advocate in New York Senator Charles Schumer, whose office is looking into getting the Roosevelt High School grad's family to Arlington for his funeral.
We'll do everything we can.
For the last 3 days, the Lagman family hasn't even been able to find out where Anthony's remains are. Well, finally, this afternoon, they got a call that he's been returned back home to the United States.
Right now, we're limited on time, knowing that Anthony's coming to Yonkers soon.
The Lagman family hopes to lay their cherished son to rest in Arlington National Cemetery alongside the heroes their son called friends. But their hopes the entire family will be there are beginning to fade. In Yonkers, Arthur Chien, CBS 2 News.
It was 10 years ago that bullets fired into a van full of yeshiva students approaching the Brooklyn Bridge. 1 was killed. Another was shot in the head. Today, with that bullet still lodged in his brain, Nachum Susakin became a rabbi.
I'm very thankful to God to bring me to this point.
The road has been difficult for the survivor of the Brooklyn Bridge shootings. A decade ago, the then 18-year-old remained in a coma for 3 weeks. 6 weeks passed before he could breathe on his own. Susakin was one of 3 students hit. A Lebanese immigrant opened fire on their van as it approached the Brooklyn Bridge. His classmate, Ari Halberstam, died. Today, that ramp bears his name.
Welcome, we're very proud of you. Today, as always.
Arriving at this day has been a big accomplishment. The bullet lodged in his brain has affected his speech and his concentration. For his religious training, Susakin dealt with 14-hour days over 18 months at his rabbinical college.
I had an opportunity to see this young man after he came out of the coma. I could never believe, my friends, that today, 10 years later, we would be here in the same room and he would be receiving ordination.
For the husband, father, and now rabbi, this day brings his life to the next stage.
They gave me the opportunity and the ability to learn and to concentrate until I become a rabbi.
The man who fired on that van 10 years ago, Rashid Baz, is serving a life sentence.
And you say the new rabbi's writing is quite astonishing.
Absolutely beautiful.
Well, coming up on CBS 2 News, a scathing report on response times to fire scenes following the closure of several city firehouses. We'll also tell you why the city sees it differently.
Then we'll tell you the big move the defense is planning as it gets its turn in the Jason Williams manslaughter trial.
And the end of an era in Philadelphia as Veterans Stadium is demolished.
And on the second day of spring, midwinter temperatures tomorrow morning. Make sure you bundle the little ones up. It'll feel as if it's in the 20s and teens. How long is this going to last? We'll let you know in the 5-day forecast coming up.
Zabel and Partners. One moment.
At Wachovia, we've learned that the only thing busier than a small business
Zabel and Partners. Miss Zabel, one moment.
is a small business owner.
Amanda Zabel.
That's why we have dedicated specialists nearby who focus on helping your business succeed.
How did you like the proposal?
Talk to us. Wachovia.
With a more powerful engine, a smoother riding suspension, control track four-wheel drive, and advanced track stability system, Ford SUVs go anywhere. Now a special shipment is here for the best selection and best deals. Now get the best-selling SUV on the planet, Ford Explorer, for only $259 a month. Just $259 for an Explorer XLT 4x4. Ford SUVs, the best selection and best deals now.
Jason Williams' manslaughter trial continues tomorrow, but the jury won't be in court. They're excused until Wednesday. Instead, the judge will hear arguments from Williams' lawyer to drop all charges against the former NBA star. Now, this is standard legal procedure, but it is unusual for a judge to set aside 2 days to hear those arguments from lawyers. If the request is denied, Williams' defense will begin Wednesday.
A new report commissioned by State Assemblyman Jeff Klein shows fire department response times have gone up. Last May, Mayor Bloomberg closed 6 firehouses around the city. At the time, the fire commissioner said response time would increase by only 1 second. The report claims the citywide average response time has gone up 13 seconds. Response time for structural fires in the 6 affected neighborhoods has gone up an average of 23 seconds, and the response time for medical emergencies in those neighborhoods has gone up an average of 30 seconds.
The result of closing these 6 firehouses not only has had a detrimental impact on the city response times as a whole, but really put these 6 communities in danger.
City officials disagree with Klein's report. They say response times in 4 of the 6 communities are actually lower than the citywide average, and the other 2 are below the national standard of 6 minutes. And today, a call to stop gang violence. Senator Charles Schumer plans to introduce a bipartisan bill in Washington. If passed, it will help police and prosecutors fight gangs. Schumer says crime in the city has gone down, but gang slayings have gone up 80%. Gang activity is also up on Long Island. Karen Battaglia's husband was killed last September, allegedly by members of the Latin Kings in Leanbrook.
My family lost Tony, and a tremendous sense of safety and security. And I know that a lot of Long Island families as well lost a sense of safety.
The proposed legislation would provide $40 million to programs that help young people stay out of gangs.
Mayor Bloomberg now says he may hold back poorly performing students in all grades if his plan to end social promotion in the 3rd grade is a success. Bloomberg caused quite a controversy when he fired several appointees and replaced them with people who would support his plan during a vote last week. An estimated 15,000 to 18,000 3rd graders could be held back under those new rules.
And when we return, spring is here, but it feels nothing like it. When will the weather start to improve?
Oh, we hope soon. And did audiences continue to flock to The Passion of the Christ? The top box office totals are still ahead.
The dirtiest restaurants, the most sickening supermarkets, diners, delis, and salad bars that could put your health at risk. If you see dirty conditions where you eat or buy food, CBS 2 wants to know. Log on to cbsnewyork.com, click on Eat at Your Own Risk, and tell us all about it. Watch for our exclusive Eat at Your Own Risk reports on CBS 2 News at 11. Closed captioning on CBS 2 is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Get the feeling Toyota.
Excuse me, how do you feel about your stockbroker?
The truth? I do all the research, he makes all the money.
Please, with all the ideas I come up with, he should be paying me.
Oh, we feel great. We switched to TD Waterhouse and we never looked back.
Why pay all that money to Merrill or Schwab? TD Waterhouse has free independent research that makes it easy to come up with your own ideas and validate them yourself.
I've never seen research like this online.
So switch to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers like Merrill and Schwab.
The roads were really nasty. Where's your truck?
Want to handle anything? Then get into Jeep Adventure Days, where well-qualified owners or lessees can get a Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $299 a month, and our 770 powertrain limited warranty on every trail-rated Jeep 4x4. See your local Jeep dealer today.
It can think for itself, strike fear in the hearts of hackers, and laugh in the face of disaster. It can transform itself, grow into whatever the future demands, work virtually anywhere, and propel entire companies, industries, and economies forward. Can your network do this? It can if it's designed by the world's networking company, AT&T.
It is not an abstract concept. It is not a financial instrument. Energy is a concrete thing, created by real people for real businesses. Energy is Constellation Energy, and we are ready to show you some very real results.
Chevy. We sell more than Toyota, Honda, or Nissan and offer more models, like the 7-passenger Chevy Trailblazer EXT. Or choose Trailblazer LS 4-wheel drive for around $319 a month and 0 down payment with Smart Buy financing. Tax, title, license, and dealer fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. Turn the key. Start a revolution with Trailblazer LS 4-wheel drive for $319 a month at your local Chevy dealer.
Look, Mary, it's my career. With 2,500 pounds of explosives creating a rotating implosion, Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium was demolished today. Yeah, it's a lot like it. It took a little more than a minute for the former home of the Eagles and the Phillies to crumble. Fans who came out to watch say a part of their lives is gone forever.
My knees were shaking. It was amazing. It's something I've never seen before. It's sad, really.
Sad because it was like in the back of my house, so I could just see it every day, and it's gonna be weird. Like, just it's not gonna be there anymore. It's gonna be a parking lot. I'm gonna miss it.
Well, she's right, and a lot of visiting players hated that stadium. By the way, the site of the stadium will serve as a parking lot for the new ballparks built to replace it.
And Todd, a bit of the past was here in New York today. One of the world's largest tall ships docked in New York Harbor. The Stad Amsterdam, a modern version of a 19th century clipper, dropped anchor at the South Street seaport. The ship, which stays faithful to historic detail, also features some modern accommodations. The clipper will stay at the seaport until Friday.
More than 2,000 women hit the pavement today for a run in Central Park, but it was more than just a run. These ladies were taking part in the More Marathon. What makes the race notable is that all the contestants are over 40 years old. The marathon was sponsored by More Magazine.
And in Russia today, racers skipped the running shoes and put their hooves in motion. These hard-charging porkers are running in the first pig races to be held in Moscow in more than 100 years. And to the winner goes the spoils, in this case, a pail of carrots with whipped cream.
Eventually, less fatty bacon and ham.
And if our careers continue to go down, we could be calling those races, right?
That's next.
Well, you know, if you could give us a better forecast.
That's right. I might be out the door. Anyway, it is cold outside, and if we don't try to find some springtime weather, you're not going to be happy with it at all. I think by the end of this week, things will be getting warmer, definitely better. Outside right now, the Chrysler Building lit up in all its glory this evening. Well, it's not evening anymore. It's past midnight now. It is a cold night out there, and temperatures are going to continue to drop right down through the 30s into the 20s, and it continues for at least one more day. Temperature right now in Central Park, 30, humidity 39%, west wind at 9, but a lot of you are still receiving gusts over 25, 30 miles per hour, and the barometer at 29.95. High this afternoon. You know, as windy as it was, we did get up to about 49 earlier. 30 is the current low, and early this morning, prior to sunup, last night's showers, A 1/10 of an inch was left in Central Park. Sun will be up at 5:55. Let's close into the region now. It's 30 degrees down towards Battery Park. Great Kills at 33. Kew Gardens 33. It's a little bit chillier at City Island where it is 29. And region-wide, Sussex the cool spot at 26. Cold spot's the better word for it. 31 in Islip, Norwalk at 31 degrees. And you factor in the current winds, and you come up with wind chills at 17 at Newark, 18 in Brooklyn, 23 Seaside. This is stuff that we were doing back in February. It's not supposed to be happening now, but it is for about 24 more hours. And that cold air coming across the lakes has caused snow showers to develop throughout Pennsylvania as well as New York State, but they will be diminishing as the night goes on, and the cold air flow also starts to diminish gradually. You can see that here. Strong northwesterly winds will continue through the night tonight into your Monday. Eventually, it will change around. High pressure moves into the region for Tuesday. Sunshine, clouds, a little bit warmer. We get up there to about the 40, 45 degree mark, and then after that, it gets a little bit better because this whole jet stream, which is bringing the relentless kind of chill to the region, will turn around and move in this direction here. We're just about on the border. The spring-like conditions, they're not all that far away. They'll be trying so hard to get here. So for tonight, really, this is too cold for this time of year. It's windy. It's in the 20s. The wind chills will be in the teens. So make sure you bundle up tomorrow morning because when you walk out the door, that's exactly what it's going to feel like around here. During the afternoon, the sun will be shining. A few fair weather clouds, 30 to 35 with the afternoon high close to 40 in a few spots. And then by tomorrow evening, the wind will die down. But it gets mighty cold out there, especially in the suburbs for tomorrow night. Here's my 5-day forecast. It gets a little bit better on Tuesday. Much better Wednesday and Thursday. That's definitely milder and where it should be for this time of year. And we could even be a little bit warmer than that come Friday. In the Super 2 extended trend, temperatures at least look like they will stay in the 50s right through the next 10-day period. Your forecast once again for tomorrow, though, it's a chilly one for this time of year. A lot of sun, but the wind is blowing. And only 34 to 39 degrees tomorrow. All right, we'll do better after this.
Hey,
promise.
No, but we're getting close. We're getting close. All right, Craig, thank you.
Details of the Yankees pitcher Mariano Rivera's contract negotiations.
Plus, Upset City on the road to the Final Four. Deuces Rogers Sports is next.
CBS 2 News, committed to serving your hometown with 3 bureaus to report the news in your neighborhood. Contact our Long Island Bureau at Hofstra University, 516-463-2619. Our New Jersey Bureau in Secaucus, 201-319-8638. And if you live in the northern suburbs, call our Westchester Bureau at the Journal News Building in White Plains, 914-696-8293.
Well, we looked at the Sienna, but we got the Kia Sedona instead. It was $2,300 less and has a 10-year warranty. Your Sienna's got that, right? No. And I got 3 years free maintenance. Can you believe that? You got free maintenance? Are you okay?
Dare to compare a Kia Sedona before you buy. With a 5-star safety rating, a 10-year warranty, and now for a limited time, get 3 years free maintenance.
Visit your New York, New Jersey, and Fairfield County Kia retailers. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Think you can buy a queen set of this high quality elsewhere for only $399? Think again.
True, it doesn't have that expensive brand name label, but it also doesn't have the expensive price.
You cannot buy a better queen set for only $399.
Happy Jack wasn't told, but he was a friend. They couldn't stop Jack, all the waters got in. And they couldn't prevent Jack from being happy.
Whoa. Digital widescreen high-definition TVs with digital auto convergence and HD component video inputs, plus high-speed velocity scan modulation. Don't touch.
Hey guys, check out the game in high def.
Now pay no interest for 2 years or get 10% off all TVs $399 and up. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
Enjoy it out there. Oh, I will. Go get them.
The new 2004 Discovery with permanent four-wheel drive and a powerful V8 engine.
First timers. You gotta love them.
Begin your adventure at a local Land Rover Center. The 2004 Discovery. Nicely equipped from $399 a month.
This is for demo purposes only. This is your NCAA bracket. Forget it.
Another #1 seed goes down. This time it's Kentucky who's bitten by the upset bug. The Wildcats, the best team in the nation, taken out by the University of Alabama, Birmingham. UAB is in the Sweet 16. Tight game in the second half. Kentucky's Gerald Fitch hits a three-pointer. He scores 17 points. The Wildcats are up 69-63. Down the stretch, Kentucky only up one. Morris Finley gives it up, gets it back. His jumper puts UAB up 76-75 with 12 seconds to play. Kentucky with the final chance. The ball's in Fitch's hands to win it. No good. The tip-ins are off the mark as well. Top-seeded Kentucky is out, beaten by UAB 76-75. Pitt and Wisconsin, the Panthers are on the break. Chris Taft will finish it underneath. He's from Brooklyn. Pitt takes a 1-point lead. The Bronx represented as well. Carl Krauser with the ball, stutter step to the hoop in traffic. The Pitt Panthers advance to the Sweet 16 with this 59-55 victory. The Yankees and closer Mariano Rivera are close to a new contract. It could be worth as much as $33 million over 3 years. Yanks and Devil Rays from Tampa, A-Rod, Derek Jeter, and Gary Sheffield enjoying the warm weather. I've forgotten what that feels like, Craig. What a game for Hideki Matsui. 3 for 3 today with 3 RBIs. Picks up 2 here on this home run at dead center. The Yankees lead 2-1. The Yanks score 4 runs in the 6th inning. Bubba Crosby's bloop just falls in. 2 more across the plate. The Yankees win easily 7-2. The Mets face the Dodgers again today. A familiar face back with the team, bench coach Don Baylor. He was away while getting treatment for bone marrow cancer. Happy to report he is now cancer-free. First inning, Mike Piazza looking good at first base. Dave Roberts grounded to first. Piazza makes the grab, makes the throw to get the out. Same inning, Bubba Trammell, the former Met and Yankee, takes Aaron Heilman deep to left field. That baseball is not coming back. It's 1-0 LA. Bottom of the 2nd inning, runners on 2nd and 3rd for Eric Snead. Here comes the throw home. Jason Phillips caught in the rundown. He will eventually be tagged out. The Mets lose this game 4-1. Hockey, at this point, the Islanders are barely in the playoff picture. Today, a tall order, the best in the East. The Tampa Bay Lightning, first period, no score. Aaron Asham sets up Mark Parrish. This is Parrish's 17th goal of the season. 1-0 Isles. Same count in the 3rd period. Michael Pekka skating down ice, a 2-on-1, too easy. The Islanders win 3-0. Rangers and Penguins tied at 2 in the 3rd period. Bobby Holik spins and shoots. The puck goes off a defender skating in. 3-2 Blue Shirts. The Pens would score to send the game into overtime. In OT, Alexei Morozov scores with 8 seconds left. Typical. The Rangers lose 4-3. Sports Wrap Live is moments away. Ahead on tonight's show, an interview with former Nets center Alonzo Mourning. He is still recovering from that kidney transplant surgery. Because of that, returning to the court is the furthest thing from Zoe's mind.
The main thing I've been thinking about is just trying to get my strength back and to try to get my body to keep this particular kidney. You know, I don't want to go through that procedure again. You know, my doctors are extremely pleased with my progress thus far.
Also on Sports Wrap Live, we will profile a Yankees top pitching prospect. This guy has a fastball that can hit 100 miles per hour. Got some heat.
Okay, and it's not even April 1st yet, so it's not an April Fool's Day joke.
No, it's true. It's the real deal.
All right, Deuces, thanks.
And we'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Durango. With all-new power, all-new room, all-new ride, all-new interior, all-new capability, all-new safety features, all-new capacity. 1 part power, 1 part comfort. The all-new Dodge Durango. See your local Dodge dealer where qualified lessees can lease a base Durango ST 4x4 for just $299 a month.
What if you could see how heat feels?
to today's oil heat. 99.9% clean, 100% warm.
You think about the roads people drive on, how each one is different. Then you build a family of cars that helps make them all the same. The 2004 Volvos with electronically controlled all-wheel drive. For confidence on any road.
I love jam and no flim flam.
You can't miss it. The 255 horsepower CTS. Cadillac. Breakthrough. Visit your tri-state Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer. See dealer for residency restrictions.
Finally, tonight we check the weekend box office where zombies devoured the competition.
Oh, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 cult horror hit, scared up enough ticket sales to knock The Passion of the Christ from the top spot. Dawn of the Dead debuted with a $27.3 million total for the weekend. The three-week reign of Passion may have come to an end. It did still manage to take in another $19 million, rounding out the top movies of the week, Taking Lives, followed by Starsky & Hutch and Secret Window.
And that does it for CBS 2 News at 11. I'm Mary Calvi.
I'm Todd McDermott. Stay tuned for Sports Wrap Live with Deuces Rogers. That's next. And have a great week.